Thanks and welcome to join me on the 6:15. I'm Kejang Henry Atembe. We begin with our headline. Cloud of anger and devastation hangs over Douala as news of Anise Kane's death in detention spread, with family members, militants and right advocates denouncing what they described as a tragic and unacceptable blow to Cameroon's democratic struggle. The 6:15 brings you some reactions of political leaders in the country. And investigations have opened in Bamenda after names of deceased and absent traditional rulers were found on voter registers during Sunday's regional council elections. And this has raised alarm over possible impostors voting in Mezam Division. Top stories. Thanks and welcome back. You can join us on our respective platforms on Canal International. And Cameroon is shaken this morning by the stunning death of opposition leader Anise George Ekane, who died in detention under very unclear circumstances. And of course, this is already igniting outrage across the country, grief and fresh scrutiny of the country's treatment of political leaders. Hyacinth Char was reports from Yaoundé. Immediately the news broke out on the demise of Anise George Ekane.
It was at about 7 a.m. this Monday, December 1st, when Anise Ekane gave up the ghost at the Yaoundé Military Gendarmerie Medical Center, where he has been receiving treatment under custody. Here comes the remains of the president of Manidem Party, deposited at the Yaoundé Central Hospital mortuary in the presence of his family and lawyers that have been defending his cause ever since his arrest from Douala on October 24th, 2025. A heavy moment to bear.
The emotions of extreme sorrow for what happened to him. He was a very strong person, but the conditions of his custody diminished him progressively. He was under oxygen for quite a good while, and he had lung failure that was increasingly making him weak. So this morning, finally, he departed. That's all we can say. We are filled with sorrow. We cannot even talk much.
A sad day indeed for the legal minds, who do not only lament about the departure of their client, but a political colleague and a figure that has been in the fight since 1973 with the UPC before co-founding the Manidem in 1991.
Those are people who fought for the freedom of Cameroon since the early days of the UPC. Those are the people who started with that. I am very young to speak of a monument like him, because the day I was born, they were already fighting under the sunlight. So I cannot go beyond that. People who were before me will say more than I will say.
Born in 1951 in Douala, Anise Ekane has been active in the political landscape for over 50 years as he quits the scene.
The news broke out on the demise of George Anise Ekane. Maureen D went to the family members or to the residence or headquarters of Manidem Party, where she met broken souls lamenting on the demise. Maureen.
On the streets of Douala, the news of Anise Ekane's death in detention is on every lip. From street corners to shops and taxis, Cameroonians are discussing the shocking developments. While many express disbelief and sorrow, others, though deeply saddened, say they are not surprised given the political and health conditions under which he lived his final days. What is clear, however, is the enduring image of Anise Ekane as a man who, in the words of many, sacrificed his life for change. He was a great fighter for the freedom of Cameroon, a true combatant who never backs down. He was a very courageous man who feared nothing. As young people, we look up to him. He inspired us daily and gave us strength to keep pushing forward. He was like a father to us. He knew how to guide the youth. He was an exemplary political figure. He was a political icon. Even when I was a child, my father used to speak of him. He has been fighting for change for nearly 50 years and plays a significant role even within the SDF. He was a true patriot. Another Umnyobe, he died with his weapons in hand. Fighting for Cameroon's freedom, he deserves our respect. His death leaves a major gap in Cameroon's opposition movements. Many, especially the youth, saw him as an inspiration, a bold voice who stood firm against injustice and gave them hope for a free Cameroon. We have lost a great man, especially within the opposition. His absence leaves a deep void. This is not a good image for Cameroon. The death of such a figure in detention is disturbing. He fought for a just cause. Freedom of expression in Cameroon is still extremely difficult. He paid the price for standing up for it. Others speak of a political vacuum left by his passing. Across conversations, Cameroonians are reflecting not only on the man Anissé Kane was, but on the broader struggle for political freedom and dignity. Some believe his death in custody is symbolic of the silencing of critical voices, while others call for his memory to fuel a new wave of activism.
Well, thanks very much. Meantime, Maureen early this morning caught up with some members of Anisse's political party, the Manidem, as well as some of his fighters or his comrades in the political fight that is spanning 50 years. Maureen.
The news of Anissé Kane's death spread like wildfire across social media platforms early Monday morning. Within minutes, militants, family members, and a curious population flooded the Manidem headquarters in Douala to confirm the heartbreaking news.
Morning through social media that President Ekane passed away, and this death was confirmed by the wife.
The vice president of Manidem described the circumstances under which Anissé Kane passed away. He revealed that even before his arrest, Ekane was already in poor health. His detention further worsened his condition, ultimately leading to his demise.
But we all know that Anissé Kane was arrested here in Douala on the 24th of October and brought in Yaoundé under very hard conditions. And he was detained for many days without his respiratory machines.
He could not call his wife, and she just learned this morning that he's dead, definitely dead.
According to his sister, the family last saw him on Thursday together with the elder sister. During that visit, one of the respiratory equipment devices was returned to him. However, Anissé Kane's own device had been damaged and was no longer usable, she cried out. Ekane, known for his bold stance, fight for change, party comrades say the impact is huge.
He decided to really offer his life to Cameroon. And he has a particular words that if my heart does not breathe for Cameroon, let it not breathe again. That was his words. And he tried to make all his comrades, the younger ones who come closer to him, to have that as their position in life.
I know that many leaders will stand up, but I don't know if there will be any solidarity with Anissé Kane.
His party comrades now vow that his vision and fight for justice will not die with him. The struggle continues to see, because that's what he would have.
Thanks, Maureen. Meanwhile, political leaders have been reacting variously on their social media handles and communiques on the demise of Anissé George Ekane, amongst them the leader of the Social Democratic Front, Joshua Osei, who actually came out with a communique today. The Social Democratic Front has learned with deep sadness and great concern the December 1, 2025 of the passing of Mr. Anise Kane, president of the African Movement for New Independence and Democracy, Manidem, while in detention. Mr. Kane was a prominent figure of the political pluralism that emerged in the early 90s. He was among the committed leaders who dedicated their lives to the struggle for democracy, freedom of expression, and political rights in Cameroon. His passing is a significant loss for the national democratic movement and for all those who believe in just, free, and truly democratic Cameroon. The SDF, according to Mr. Usis, extends its heartfelt condolences to his family, loved ones, his party, and all members of the political and civic community who are mourning his departure, given the sensitive circumstances surrounding his death in custody, particularly in light of his fragile medical condition, which could have warranted appropriate health care and hospitalization. The SDF calls for an independent, transparent, and impartial investigation to establish the facts, determine responsibilities, and prevent similar situations in the future. The protection of the physical, moral, and legal integrity of all political actors, regardless of their affiliation, is a non-negotiable principle in any democratic state. It must be fully upheld and guaranteed in Cameroon. The SDF will closely monitor the developments relating to this matter and reaffirm its unwavering commitment to justice, human dignity, and the respect of fundamental rights. It has been signed by the national chairman of the Social Democratic Front, Honorable Joshua Osei. We'll be bringing you other reactions from other political leaders as they keep streaming into our newsroom. Meanwhile, we want to equally extend our heartfelt condolences to the family of Anise George Kane. We move over to Bamenda, where a deadly improvised device ripped through the gendarmerie vehicle in Bamenda, that is Bamenda Muntef neighborhood, early Sunday, killing 2 officers and triggering hours of persistent gunfire that sent terrified residents fleeing for their safety. The details of this with Sherifa Saleh, thanks to Keros from our Northwest Chief Correspondent Annie Collins.
2 gendarmes were over the weekend killed in Bamenda in the northwest region of Cameroon. They met their untimely death after an improvised explosive device struck their vehicle in the early hours of Sunday in the neighborhood in Bamenda 3 subdivision. The incident was preceded and followed by hours of gunfire that sent the local population panic-stricken and scaring others from making it for church service. Military colleagues later carried away the charred bodies of the victims, including the injured, and also pulled away the wreckage of the damaged Hilux vehicle acquired not long ago.
I'm Gladys Dibang for that report, and we'll move over to the southwest region where it was a hitch-free election, as particularly in Fako division, as 3 persons or 3 chiefs were elected to represent their peers at the regional council or the House of Chiefs, as we are gathering from you, Sherifa Saleh and Jama Richard.
Investigations are ongoing in Bamenda to identify some impostors who reportedly voted on behalf of deceased traditional rulers and those who were absent from Sunday's regional elections for the 2nd legislature of the House of Chiefs of the Northwest Regional Assembly. The alarm was raised when
Fako division in the southwest region of Cameroon witnessed a decisive moment in regional council elections as 144 chiefs gathered on November 30 to choose among 3 competing lists for representation in the Southwest House of Chiefs, a key component of the 96th Southwest Regional Assembly.
Should put the development of the division as priority. We intend to represent the chiefs and to act as their voices in the House of Chiefs.
The election held in Limbe under a calm and orderly atmosphere featured 3 lists led by Chief Robert Endale, Chief Etina Monono of Great Sopo, and Chief Efoswa of Bojongo. Each list comprised 3 traditional rulers, with the winning list securing all 3 seats allotted to Fako division.
We are monarchs of the land. Enmity, division is not part of us.
As of Fako chief, I think the victory is for all the chiefs. We are going there for the interest of the majority of the chiefs. So, despite the fact that we have won, we all still remain one person.
Security forces maintain a visible presence throughout the voting process, contributing to what authorities describe as a smooth and peaceful exercise. Local administrators monitored proceedings closely, underscoring the importance placed on transparency and democratic participation.
Everything has been very, very well ordered, very well organized.
I advise them to accept the principle of democracy and the fair play at the end of the process. So that
by the closing of counting, the list led by Chief Atina Monono emerged victorious with 55 votes at the Limbe polling station, securing Fako's 3 positions in the Southwest House of Chiefs.
Meanwhile, over in Yaoundé, voting for Cameroon's regional elections unfolded calmly across Yaoundé on November 30, with municipal councillors and traditional rulers turning out as Elekam supervised a largely incident hitch-free election process aimed at shaping the Central Region's next 5-year mandate. Reporter Ate Bonaventure caught up with the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, who actually spoke on the conduct of that election.
$676 municipal councillors and 15,580 first class, second class and third class chiefs for a total of 207 police stations across the 10 regions. Following the report forwarded by administrative authorities, the necessary election material was available in time in all polling stations. After 2 weeks of smooth campaign, the regional council elections went on hitch-free nationwide, despite security challenges in some regions. Vote counting and proclamation of results will follow in accordance with the provisions of the Electoral Code and in strict compliance with the prescribed deadlines. After the 12th of October presidential election, which took place in calm, fair and in peaceful atmosphere, and which was won by His Excellency President Paul Biya, President of the Republic, Head of State, Cameroon has today successfully held the regional council election.
Territorial Administration Paul Atanganji talking there on the conduct of the election. Meantime, investigations have opened in Bamenda, that is the northwest region, after names of deceased persons and absent chiefs were found on voters' registers during Sunday's regional election. And of course, this has raised concerns over the possible impostors voting. Details with Abu Gladys Curls from Northwest correspondent Nanyi Collins.
Fako division in the southwest region of Cameroon witnessed a decisive moment in regional council elections as 144 chiefs gathered on November 30 to choose.
Investigations are ongoing in Bamenda to identify some impostors who reportedly voted on behalf of deceased traditional rulers and those who were absent from Sunday's regional elections for the second legislature of the House of Chiefs of the Northwest Regional Assembly. The alarm was raised when it was discovered that the names of some late chiefs had already been filled on the voters' register. After the close of the polls and ballots counted on the spot, it was deduced that 30 persons effectively cast their votes in the lone polling station for Mezam, with the 2 contesting lists headed by Fon Viu Nelson and Fon Ganyonga III, respectively. The list that was defeated promised to file a complaint against election irregularities. As for the House of Divisional Representatives, it was almost an election with no stake, though members still put up arguments to defend their pioneer mandates.
We have to explain to the municipal councillors, everybody who's interested, let them know what they're voting for. Let them know what to expect. So there's a lot at stake here, and we are willing to explain ourselves so the country can be moving forward.
There are a lot of things that we could have generated income from grassroots to make it. We wouldn't have been waiting for you.
The over 200 councillors and traditional rulers who cast their votes in Mezam Division are waiting for the proclamation of the final results, which are due in 3 days, after which a new bureau of the House of Divisional Representatives and House of Chiefs will be elected during the first session as of right, thereby forming the second mandate of the Regional Assembly after that of 2020.
Ambo Gladys reporting there. You draw the cuttings for this edition of the 6:15, in which you got news that the country is shaken by the untimely death of Anise George Ekane this morning, and the stunning death of the opposition leader sent shockwaves and outrage across the country. Matthew Fangwa will be right ahead with the brief, the actuality, sporty from all of us.